One of the worst places that you can stack dominoes and try to create a cool like domino chain is on a sailboat. But a place where domino trail does apply is when used as an analogy for how insulin stops fat loss in your body. Now, I'm not saying that insulin necessarily makes you store fat. There is some evidence there, but it's convoluted, it's complicated. But one thing that is relatively, that we're confident in is that insulin does stop the fat burning process temporarily. Because insulin is what is called anti-lipolytic, okay? It stands in the way of the normal fat mobilization, lipolysis. And I'll explain how that all works because I quite firmly believe that education leads to adherence. If you know how something works, then you can make changes within your diet or your lifestyle to get a better outcome. So let's dive in. Before I dive into this, please do check out today's sponsor, which is Thrive Market. Thrive Market is a game changer for me, and I just want to be able to share it with my audience and people that watch my videos. They're an online membership-based grocery store, so whether you eat carbs or you don't eat carbs, they have got something for you. So what they've done is they've filtered all of the different kind of foods that are out there, and they've put them into diet categories, and they're an online grocery store. So if you are eating gluten-free, or if you're doing paleo, you bet your bottom dollar you can select that type of diet and then you can shop by that diet. So it's not for one type of diet, it's for everybody that's trying to learn a better way to eat. And then Thrive Market also vets out all the products that come through, and trust me, almost every single thing on there has Thomas DeLauer's stamp of approval. They're not putting garbage on their shelves, so to speak. Okay, but the cool thing is that link down below will save you 25% off. 25% off your first order with Thrive Market, as well as a free gift. So I'm telling you, if you shop for pantry staples, there's no reason to not try Thrive Market. It's probably cheaper than what you're doing right now, and it's easier, and it's probably better food. So use that link down below. Oh yeah, and then it gets shipped to your doorstep, so super easy. Again, link down below. Okay, insulin is designed to do one thing, to get glucose into a cell, okay? It has all these different cascading effects, but I think the main purpose is get the glucose in the cell. So in an effort to do this, it halts some processes. It's not that insulin's bad, it's that insulin is doing what it's supposed to do. Triglycerides are stored in our fat, right? And they're supposed to liberate and they're supposed to store, and it's this cycle of liberation, storage that ends up at, ideally a net balance, right? We want that balance of proper oxidation, proper fat utilization, and proper fat storage, whatever, an exchange, so to speak. Now, here's the domino analogy that makes some perfect sense for people. Okay, when it comes time to burn fat, whether you're exercising or you're just standing around, the natural fat burning process, our adipocytes, our fat cells, are activated, or acted upon, I should say, by adrenaline, okay? Adrenaline binds to a little receptor on a fat cell, okay? And what happens is once that insulin binds to a receptor, it triggers what is called cyclic adenosine monophosphate. We're not gonna talk about the mechanism of it, we're just talking about that is one domino. Then that cyclic adenosine monophosphate falls over and knocks another domino called protein kinase A, which therefore knocks another domino that is called hormone-sensitive lipase, which knocks another domino to cut off the fatty acids out of the cell and liberate them into the bloodstream. It's that simple. Hormone-sensitive lipase is like a pair of scissors that cuts the fatty acid off of a glycerol head. That doesn't really matter right now, we're making this simple, and the fatty acids go into the bloodstream and then get taken up by the cells and burned, okay? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, it's what we want. So you have this domino effect, and there's lots of other little dominoes that are going on in this too. So we have this nice, beautiful cascade of dominoes falling and fat burning. Insulin removes the second domino, okay? So when insulin is doing its job, in an effort to get glucose into the cell, it says, hey, I need you to stop everything else right now and focus on getting that glucose in the cell because that is number one priority. So what it does is it stops cyclic adenosine monophosphate. It inhibits cyclic adenosine monophosphate from doing its job. So now you have adrenaline hits the cell, but there's no CAMP, there's no second domino. So instead of boom, 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 you have boom, and all these other dominoes standing there going, well, nothing knocked us over. So that's how insulin comes in and removes that domino. So it's not that insulin is like literally stopping everything from happening like in a good way. It's doing its job at that point in time. As insulin comes back down, that domino gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and can eventually push the whole cascade over again, which is one of the reasons why I typically suggest, like if you want maximum fat burning, I don't suggest just like avoiding carbs altogether. That is one strategy for some people. It worked for me when I lost 100 pounds, and I certainly am passionate about it, but it doesn't mean it's the only way to go about this. Simply by not eating all the time or taking little breaks in between meals so that your insulin levels can come back down and that system can start again, that might be a very solid movement for you, right? That's a solid way to go, because then you're allowing those dominoes to, so think of that domino that gets removed as a domino that is growing. So rather than insulin removing it, think about insulin shrinking it. And as insulin starts to go away, the domino starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger again until it has enough height to fall over and knock over the next domino. That's how insulin plays a role. And remember, I mean, I don't want this whole demonization of carbohydrates, because there is a good process for them in the body, and it's the hyperpalatability and the bad carbohydrates and the overconsumption of it that is the problem. There's just more available food now and refined starches. That's the problem. It doesn't mean that having some sweet potato is going to completely stop your fat loss forever. It's going to stop it for the time being so that the carbohydrates can get taken up, either burned by the cell or stored in the muscle glycogen, but that's it, okay? But now if you understand how it works and how it stands in the way through these different like domino effects, you can again strategize your diet. So as always, keep it locked in here on my channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.